Hi everyone in English 2323, it's Dr. E and I'm here with your week 2 instructional video. So first of all, congratulations, you made it to week 2. I know week 1 is usually pretty overwhelming. There's a lot going on, especially if you're taking multiple classes and you have a ton of other responsibilities. So it's great that you made it here. If you're still feeling a little bit overwhelmed, then just make sure you're putting time into clicking around, exploring all your different courses in D2L, and always letting your professors know if you have any questions or concerns or just need to kind of let them know that things aren't going as smoothly for you as you'd hoped. All right, I'm just going to jump to it. Here's D2L and we'll walk through where to go and what to do. So in the content area, if we scroll down and see week 2 here and open that, here is something taken directly from our weekly schedule, right? So here are the items that you need to read and actually watch. You have a TED Talk to watch, so it's pages 3 through 27 in the course book, and that includes the introduction to the Romantic period, and then the biography of Anna Letitia Barbald, including her poem, The Mouse's Petition. Now, I'm going to get real for a second here and just say that the introduction to the Romantic period is heavy. It is heavy reading. It is going to require, or at least I suggest you take several breaks in order to finish it because it's just packed full of information. It's a long period of time to cover in terms of the history, the literary developments, all of that. So just take your time and really keep asking yourself, like, what does everything that's going on during this time period, how is it going to impact literature? And then how are the things that we're going to read going to reflect, what's going on in that time period? So this is not wasting your time at all on some boring introduction. It's really investing in making sure that we are getting that context. What's going on outside of these people's lives that we're reading is really important, right? It has an impact, but take your time. You're also going to watch a TED Talk by Chimamanda Adichie, which is called The Danger of a Single Story. Some of you may be familiar with her or her work or even this talk, but it's just a really great way to begin conversations, particularly about literature and how there is this danger of what we might consider a single story, which if you haven't heard or listened or seen her TED Talk, then that will start to make more sense to you. And I think it's a wonderful talk. All right. So on Monday, everything is going to be posted. You have the instructional video, which you're watching now. I did put a line through the discussion post video only because I have the video that I've actually used in previous semesters. I just posted it so that you have a general idea as well as the rubric. But I want us to kind of ease into the discussion post, and I don't want you to watch, an additional video this week if we don't really have to. So I shared it in this content area, but it's not necessarily a requirement. Take some time when you're able to look it over, look at the rubric, but typically I put the expectations, like the length guidelines and the prompt, in those discussion boards so you have that idea. But, take a look at that whenever you're concerned about grading or any of that. But again, we'll ease into some of that. All right, and you also have the Literary League video, which is a lot to take in. So again, take your time, look through the materials. The course survey is going to be due on Sunday, which the link has been, here and in last week. And then there is the prompts posted for the discussion post. So you actually have 2 discussion posts this week. One is just a general discussion post that kind of asks you to think about the things that we read, right? So we have, we have the Romantic period background, we have Anna Letitia Barbald and her poem, and then we also have Chimamanda Adichie's TED Talk. So it's kind of putting some of those ideas together in a single space in that discussion board. You're also going to be placed into small groups, which we'll call literary leagues, and you have work to do there. I'll get to it. All right, and then by Sunday, one league member needs to upload the roles and responsibilities plan in the assignment area of D2L. Your course survey is due. Many of you have already completed that, which I really appreciate. And then you have your participation quiz, but I'll scroll down so you can kind of see how this all plays out. So you're watching what will appear as number 1 here, and then you'll have the Literary League assignment video, which walks through this handout. So if you take a look at this, it just gives you kind of the basics of what it means in this class to work in groups, right? Eventually that will load. And so that information is here. So take some time to review that. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, and then here you also have like the discussion post-instructional video, the rubric, that literary league document, and here's the roles and responsibility form, which I'll get to in just a second. So these are just things to review. And then if we scroll down to do, we have our first literary league discussion. So you've been placed in groups of probably 5 given our class size. So if you click on this, it will take you to your specific group area. And it just says welcome. I think it's not a bad idea to have quick introductions. I'm going to make it so that it's only one group at a time. So you have a space for brief introductions. You already did major introductions last week, but this is kind of a quick like, oh, okay, let's touch base again. We're in these groups together. And then you have the roles and responsibilities to talk about. So if you take a look, this is just kind of offering all of that information, as well as the documents, right? You have the Literary League handout, as well as the roles and responsibility form. So I'm going to open that briefly. And this is what you need to choose, one person who's going to be willing to be responsible for that. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Let me get my face out of here. All right, so you're just going to, make some decisions, right? So after you look at the Literary League video, a lot of this is going to make sense. So you have to determine the kinds of, or the methods of communication, kind of imagine a timeline. So it's just a fillable document, okay? And I want to reiterate something I already said in the video. It's going to end up being flexible, but I want us to just kind of have a general plan set up for our group work in the future, knowing that that may change and knowing that the roles and responsibilities are going to rotate. So not any one person is going to be, responsible for a bulk of the work throughout the semester, because that's not fair. All right, so I'm going to go back to D2L. And so that's the responsibilities form. So you should see 2 different threads that are already started in your group area. So if you just click on the brief introductions, you just click reply. Remember, offer your name, chosen pronouns here, that kind of thing, and click post. And then if you go back to, oh goodness, this of course is not going to make my life easy, but why would it? And then if you go back to the original area for the group, you'll have the roles and responsibilities. So this is where you just post and respond to one another, share your ideas. Everyone's is going to look a little bit different. You just have space to kind of work through some of those ideas. Okay, so just make sure you're watching the video and looking at the handout before you jump into that discussion. And then we have our general week 2 discussion, and that is again based on those readings and Adichie's video. So I've given you specific, 1 paragraph here, 1 paragraph. Please just make sure that you're revising and editing before you're uploading. I always recommend work in Microsoft Word, download Grammarly, do everything you can to make sure that what you share is as well written, corrected, revised as possible. I suggest you use Microsoft Word to compose it, but then you would copy and paste the text into the discussion board text box. Don't upload a document, because that's just harder for us all to read and open. Okay, so 2 discussion areas this week. Then this is the form, which it's in your group areas, but I wanted to have it here, as well as the assignment link. So this is where that one person, it's set up so that you're going directly into your group submission, so you don't have to worry about everybody in your group submitting. Okay. Then you have the week 2 quiz, and while I'm on the topic, I'm just going to stop here and say the random word, which is going to be a pop culture reference because it's been on my mind a lot lately, which is Hamilton, because I just can't stop listening to it. That's it. And then you have your student survey, which again, a lot of you have already completed. So it's a pretty full week in terms of things that we need to kind of get done, but you have time to kind of think through it. Take your time with the reading and with the video. Don't push too long. Take breaks while you're reading. take breaks, from day to day. But the good thing to do for at least the Literary League discussion is to jump in there, and get the conversation going if you need to. I don't believe I have it set up so that you can't see anybody's post until you yourself post. But if you don't see anybody post already, then just get in there, start that conversation. And as always, reach out to me if you have any questions, either through the Q&A discussion post area, which you are welcome to jump in and answer any of your colleagues' questions if you know the answer, but I will be in there as often as I'm able, or if it's something a little bit more personal, you can shoot me an email. So you made it to week 2. It's going to be a full week, but it's going to be worthwhile. So just hang in there. Good luck this week.